Hi, I'm Jillian and welcome to the show. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul, guiding you through the labyrinth of your own ascension path. This show is for the rebel souls that challenge the status quo, those that crave authenticity in every single aspect of their lives, that desire to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, connect to their soul and live according to who they truly are, even if that means having the courage to go against the grain or the norms of society. If that's you, my spiritual soul seeker, rebel warrior, then this is the place for you. On this podcast, we speak about everything from spirituality, sexuality, conscious relationships, business, and literally everything in between. So if that's your jam, then stay tuned. And go on, be a rebel and subscribe. You know you want to. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is past lives. So we're going to talk about some of the signs that you've had past lives, but more importantly, that you're still being impacted by them. Because yes, so many of us, the challenges, the patterns, the things that we're facing in our current life can and often come from a past life. So do you ever feel like you're carrying, some kind of invisible baggage from a life that you don't remember? Because ultimately you might be. Our past lives leave imprints on our present, and as I said, they affect everything from our relationships, our limiting beliefs, our deepest fears. I mean, they touch on so many aspects that you don't even realize. I actually recently had a reel that's gone viral, talking about if you have trouble wearing necklaces or scarves or anything around your neck, then that could be because of a past life where you were strangled or hung. And I know that sounds morbid AF, but if you're listening to this, then you will be very interested in spirituality and healing in some guise. And if you are in this life, then you also will have many past lives where you were very spiritual and doing healing or spiritual work, and this was a reality. We have lived hundreds and hundreds of different lifetimes where things weren't as great as they are here. And I know obviously some parts of the world things aren't great there, but as humanity, we have gone through a lot of horrible, terrible eras where we weren't safe, where bad things really did happen. And again, I know bad things still happen in today's world, but this is such a reality, guys. So, and the cool thing about this is past lives are something that comes up with all of my mentorship clients. So the clients that I have, unless you've booked in for obviously a past life regression or one comes up in an individual session, a lot of my mentorship clients that I work with long term, past lives come up because we're multifaceted, right, guys? We are multi-layered. We've had many, many lifetimes. We have things that are impacting us from past lives, this life, our ancestral line. So it's like an onion, right? So of course, so many things come up from our past lives in sessions, and it's so cool to see the transformation, the healing, and the awareness that actually come from those sessions. It's always so mind-blowing of what comes through with all of my clients during past lives. In fact, I actually have one client who, every session, she's like, can we do past life? Can I go into past life? I feel like there's something in a past life. And I'm like, absolutely, because it's just so cool and fascinating. So I want to be able to enlighten you guys around some signs that you, one, have past life, but more so two, that they are actually still influencing you. And by understanding them, from healing them, and from creating the resolve that you need, how you can actually break free from any of the challenges and the old patterns, the residues that you're actually still energetically holding onto at a soul level. So here we go. I mean, look, probably one of the first ones, if I was to say what could still be affecting you from a past life. And probably one of the most popular ones, I suppose, or the most well-known ones, let's just say, is any phobia or fear that just doesn't make sense. Like any fear or intense phobia that just doesn't seem to have a cause in like this lifetime. You know, things like fears of water, heights, enclosed spaces. I mean, those are like really, I guess, probably more some of the common ones. I do actually know someone that went to get regression because she had a terrifying fear of birds. Like, terrifying, where she would, if there was a bird near her, she would like run to the other side of the street. And you know, like that can get like annoying and probably a little bit embarrassing, I would say. So, you know, she just didn't have any clue. Like there was nothing that happened in her childhood, nothing that happened in her past where she could attribute to this like painfully destructive fear of birds. So of course, like most things of when people explore past lives, you know, they may have explored other avenues first and then find themselves in past lives. But yeah, she actually found the root cause of what happened to her in a past life that gave her this distinct fear of birds. And you know what? Even after one session, that fear dissipated. So it's actually crazy how quickly we can heal or things can be transformed and resolved when we bring awareness to the root cause. And honestly, this is the basis of all of my work. Whatever the root cause is where like I will always go, or where I'll be guided to go, or where my clients will be guided to go. And this is the thing that actually creates true transformation in our life, that clears any blocks, that clears the pathway to our highest potential, right? So the fears, and oh my god, so I mean, tell me if you guys have any fears. Like I said, I had this viral video that went viral, funnily enough, and it was about the fact if you have struggles with anything around your neck, necklaces, etc., then it could be like from a past life. And so many people have commented. It's actually crazy the amount of views that I have on that post now on TikTok and Instagram. But this is so common, especially, as I said, for people that are drawn to spirituality and healing in this life. This was a reality, you know, like people were persecuted, people were hung, people were strangled, people were, you know, there was a lot of this type of persecution for people that were speaking their voice, for people that were living their truth authentically, for healers, for other spiritual people. You know, the witch trials, don't even get me started. And I had this one too. I literally, guys, I couldn't put anything around my neck. Like if I had to wear like a t-shirt or something when I was younger, I would be pulling at the neck. Like I'm sure my mom like told me off so many times because I'd stretched the whole neck out. Couldn't wear necklaces, just nothing at all. Even rings and like watches or anything around my wrist, I also couldn't have that. It felt so claustrophobic for me. It was, it was like, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why do I have such a, and I wouldn't say it was a fear, it was just an extreme discomfort to the point where like I couldn't breathe. And this, I found out was because of past lives. Of course, me being persecuted on many occasions. And guys, obviously because I do this as a job, I have explored hundreds and hundreds of my own past lives. So there's so many components to it. But yes, I have had many experiences that led to me having this kind of claustrophobic phobia of having anything around my neck, wrists, or even fingers. Fire is another one. Look, fire is really interesting because I have always had this like fascination about like with the beauty of fire, but I've also been burned in a fire. And the really interesting, and I suppose this is quite cool to tell because I suppose my introduction, to past lives was when I was at my psychic school, when I was studying psychic development myself back in the day in London in a psychic school. And I was feeling this feeling like throughout the whole class one day. And I was like, I need to go and speak to my teacher because I'm just like, there's just something, this feeling here. I'm hot. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I just had this call. I was like, you need to ask her something about this. And class had finished and I went up to her and I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, I'm having this feeling and I know I need to talk to you about it. And all of a sudden, I don't know if I think I might have told this story before, but I felt and saw in my mind's eye, I just saw these flames. I was engulfed in this fire and I just felt this wave of just heat. And me and my teacher at the time, it's like we both kind of like stepped back from each other because we were both coherently having this experience and this flashback and this vision of me being burned alive. And I looked at her, she looked at me, and I was like, ah. And I was like, I was burned. And I just said, I was like, I was burned in a fire. And she said, yeah, that's one of your past lives. And that was kind of, honestly, kind of the first that I'd really come across past lives. Like, I'm sure I'd heard of it before, but at that time I hadn't really looked into it. I think I had a friend that wanted to do past life regression, but you know, it was just a conversation at that point. I really didn't know much about it. And lo and behold, what happened like a couple of weeks later, we had a past life regression therapist come into our school and do a talk or do some sessions. And of course I went and booked in with him pretty much like the next day, and the rest is history. You know, I actually did loads of past life regressions with him whilst I was in London, and we became really good friends. And he actually invited me to do ayahuasca, which is a whole other story. And then when I came to Australia, I studied to become a practitioner in regression myself. And of course, I can take people through their own past lives, but because of my intuitive and psychic abilities, I can also see your past life. So yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, phobias and fears, guys. If you have an unexplained phobia or fear and you want to heal that, amazing. So good. It's wild, the instant transformation that can come from one of these sessions. Again, I mean, I'm a fan, obviously. The fact that I like did so many myself to the point where I'm like, this shit is phenomenal at healing. Like, it's an amazing healing modality to the point where I'm like, I need to study this and become trained in it myself because it's helped me so much and I want to be able to really share it and help other people. So unexplained phobias and fears, this is a big thing, guys. Or recurring dreams or deja vu. Like, I don't know how many times I have had deja vu in my life. So many. You know, if you're having like deja vu, like especially around certain people or certain places, like that can mean you have a past life connection with those places or with those people, or if you're having dreams about places and people or different time periods, that also could really indicate that you've had a past life there. So like, I remember I used to have a lot of dreams about being chased. I've had a lot of dreams of like being in Egypt. I've had a lot of dreams and like affiliations with certain places. So like Egypt, obviously, because I honestly feel because ancient Egypt was such a mecca for our spiritual evolution at that time, that so many people that are here to lead a spiritually led life in this lifetime will absolutely have an experience in a past life in Egypt. And I definitely have. I have had many. But when I was younger, I used to also love like the old cowboy and western movies as well. So I had a real affiliation for like that time period too. So, you know, like the Americas and the Canadas and stuff, like I would be obsessed with it at like a really, really young age. So yeah, having dreams, having deja vu are big signs that, yeah, not only you've had a past life, but you may still be carrying some stuff from it, because, you know, like for our dreams, you know, our dreams are places where we are able to access higher consciousness of information, where our guides can actually drop experiences or memories into us when we are at a very relaxed state, when our brain is at a theta state. And yeah, this can often come up as like reoccurring dreams. So yeah, have a think about what reoccurring dreams you've had or have had, even from like a child, because I know there are a lot of people that have had certain reoccurring dreams since childhood, or ones that have had them all the time in childhood but now don't have them. I actually had one client that he never really dreamed. He's like, I never really remember my dreams, but we had a session, and of course we went into a past life, and 2 days before, he woke up in a sweat, like of this dream, of this nightmare, of a death point, of a death scene. And I don't know if it was like in the Mayan like era or something, but I think it might have been, where he was basically being murdered. And of course, this was the trauma of this memory of this past life coming out to be cleared, because that can also happen in our dreams, guys. And it's like everything energetically that's ready to be released from us will come up. And yeah, sometimes they come up in our dreams, because 2 days later I was having a session with me and it came up and it was cleared fully. So yeah, dreams, recurring dreams, deja vu. Another thing, that we could still be carrying some past life residue, some past life karma, is having really strong emotional or unexplained responses to people or places. So, like instant love or an instant dislike towards someone, a situation, or a place. Like, this can honestly and often be tied to any unresolved issues or relationships from past lives. Like, I know for me, I've definitely had them. Like, I have definitely had them. So in terms of like places, I had like a natural desire and gravitas and affiliation for certain places in the world which I have traveled to. So Australia was one of them, which is where I live now. Asia, Hawaii, and the Philippines, like those kind of places I've been very drawn to. And I now know it's because I've had some really empowering and beautiful lifetimes in those places. Whereas I never wanted to go to Eastern Europe, like Russia and things like that. Because I now also realize that I had some really horrible experiences in past lives. So yeah, like if you ever had that just instant disdain or instant like revulsion for a place, this could be a reason. Or this could be also if you had that for somebody. This is the interesting one. When you have like really strong emotional reactions to people, often, as I said, they can be past life connections. So again, like affiliations for someone, it's where it's just like I feel like I know you, or I feel so comfortable with you, or I'm so drawn to you, or I'm so attracted to you. You could have shared past lives with this person, and this is something that I want to really hone in on, because this has definitely come up for a few of my clients and myself in the past, it's helpful to know and to be able to decipher if you have like an instant attraction or connection to someone, like especially, for example, if you're already in a relationship and you have this instant attraction to someone else. This is like dodgy territory, guys. It's really important to be able to try and understand if that you are just meant to be in that person's life on a platonic sense, if it's a lesson, if it's an ex-family member, or if there's a pattern that you're here to break, if there's some karma there that you need to play out with this person, because it can be a really real thing, and you obviously don't want to go and explore something with someone new, especially one, if you're in a relationship. Firstly, just don't do that. And secondly, sometimes the people that we are drawn to are not always meant to be in our lives, one, forever, and two, in a romantic sense. Sometimes the people that we have this instant connection to are actually meant to be our friends, or are just meant to deliver something, a lesson for us, and then we'll never see them again. So actually being able to have the tools to understand the nature and dynamics of our relationship and what they are and how they're here to support us or help us grow, or what we're actually meant to clear and learn that we're still carrying from this connection that's been unresolved, is honestly, it's a game changer for relationships. It's a game changer. I cannot tell you, again, I'm giving away my secrets here, but there have been certain people in my life that I've been very attracted to, or very, very drawn to. Obviously, there's been one she's still my friend. She's been my friend for a very, very long time. But we just instantly had like this draw to each other. And we have lived many, many lifetimes together. And we have been through thick and thin. We have been through hell. We've been through challenges together. We've hated each other and we've loved each other. And that was all in this lifetime, guys. And I'm so fortunate to have been able to explore our past life dynamics, to understand our relationship and actually what we're meant to be in each other's life here, because we are honestly truly meant to be here for each other's growth and support. And I've known her now, oh my gosh, how long? A long time. Like since 2009. So that's a long time, guys. But then also the crazy thing, I also had a lifetime with her and an ex-boyfriend from 2012 that it was like that. See that instant dislike that I was talking about? She had this instant dislike for him. Like, I mean, I know, best friends do that, right? Like, who likes your boyfriend, especially if he's not great? No shade. But it was more than that. It was just this weird dynamic between us all three, right? It was just such an interesting time back then. Again, guys, please, like, for whatever I did in my 20s, allow it, okay? But when I went into a past life, I mean, basically through that relationship, there was betrayal, there was hurt, that I was feeling from him and from her. And I went and did a regression and I found out so much. Like, he had betrayed and hurt me in that lifetime. He actually stole my baby and he was part of me being killed. And my friend in that lifetime was his mother, who was a queen, and she actually ordered me to be killed. So all the things that I was feeling and the dynamic that we were like replaying was replaying in this lifetime, because I had to learn certain things. I had to heal certain parts that I had been carrying so I could dissolve the karma. And and from that, it's just like I was able to see the dynamics in the relationship in such a different way. And I mean, look, we're like nearly 20 years strong now, right? So I think let's just say I think it worked. But yeah, there's been a few of my like 3 people in my life from a romantic standpoint that have been very instrumental in my own soul's evolution and growth that I have gone into or seen past lives with. And yeah, it's so cool to be able to understand those dynamics at a deeper level again, just to navigate, even, to heal heartbreak, to navigate my own emotions, to understand the bigger lessons, for some of these relationships that, maybe didn't work out in the way that maybe I wanted to. But, sometimes these big catalytic soul contracts that we have with people aren't meant to be forever. They are meant to help us both expand and grow in some way. So yeah, it's really fascinating for me of how I now have that ability to be able to see things from a much higher perspective and plane, which, just helps to create peace, within my heart and for other people that go and explore this too. So, unexplained emotional reactions to people. Big one. And another thing is unfamiliar skills or talent. So look, there's those kid prodigies that can come in and play the piano or do some insane things. This could be, and most likely is, explained by a past life. So, these kids coming in and just having an affinity for these certain skills, like, again, playing an instrument, speaking a language, like being an amazing artist, like whatever it is, without any formal training, can suggest like this past life carryover. And this is so true with your spiritual gifts. Like, our spiritual and healing gifts are not just from this lifetime. They're from many lifetimes. This is part of our soul's path. So anyone that is now at place where you're opening up your own intuitive and spiritual gifts, just know that you've been practicing them for lifetimes. And you can actually work with your past lives to reclaim and recall the gifts that you are here to truly be of service to the world with, that you're here to embody as part of your purpose. And this is something that I do with my clients all the time. Intuitive gifts like empathy, compassion, authenticity, leadership, And then also all of your intuitive gifts, your like psychic gifts, your clairvoyance, your clairsentience, your mediumship, your telepathy, all of that stuff is like a huge sign that you are carrying things over. Whereas, instead of carrying over something that's maybe more negative, in this sense, it's super positive because, like I said, our gifts are we've been practicing them for lifetimes, and the gifts that we have are what we're meant to hone, what we're meant to practice, and what we're meant to perfect in this lifetime, because that is honestly part of our purpose. It's part of our purpose. I actually had one of my clients who went back to a past life in Egypt, where I think he was like an architect for Egypt. And it was so relevant because in this lifetime, his purpose is to build legacies, to build business, to build purpose-led business in a way that was so relevant to what he was doing in that lifetime. So he was able to bring back the tools and the skills that made him successful in that lifetime and bring that back into his current business. And it's really cool to see how he's architected, let's just say in inverted commas, those skills within his current business. So what else? Ooh, another thing that you may be still impacted. This is a big one, guys, because again, I've had a lot of clients that have had these types of chronic physical ailments or birthmarks that don't really have a clear medical explanation, and are really causing some issues in someone's life. And they're not linked to any kind of like injuries or traumas from this lifetime, although they can. Although actually, sometimes I do see that they will be carried over and something may happen in this lifetime too, but it's just part of the same energy. It's like because you're still holding on to past life trauma, it manifests itself in either injury or illness in this lifetime. And things like obviously birthmarks. So I actually have like a birthmark just on the top of my leg. It's like a really faint kind of pink little strawberry thing, and I went into a past life to explore it, obviously. And guess what I found? That I was shot with an arrow in that exact point in my leg. I had another client who had like really bad shoulder pain that just wouldn't go away, and when we explored her past life, she discovered that she'd been shot in that exact place, and not by anyone, by the person that was her ex-husband in this life. I know, it's wild. And when we went in, when we got the healing, when we got the awareness, she was able to let go of the beliefs that she was still carrying from that experience in that life, and also the emotional pain that she'd been carrying from that life. And lo and behold, she messaged me that very night after our session, and she was like, I cannot believe it. The pain is gone. Like the pain that I've been having, this chronic pain that I've been having for so long, it's just gone. It's just disappeared. And this is why I get excited about it, guys, because it's like there's now scientific studies that back up like my theories here around the fact that we can manifest physical pain and ailments through our emotional and mental state. And sometimes when we're not aware of it, when it's deep within our unconscious, it's because it actually isn't from this lifetime. It's from past lifetimes. So being able to get to the root cause and clear the things that we're holding onto, that we're holding in our body, that is creating this manifestation of illness or pain or whatever it is in our physical body, it is a game changer. And I honestly do love the fact that science is now kind of backing this up with their theories, because, as spiritual as I am also extremely analytical. I am very detailed. I'm extremely analytical. Like my past career, I was very much into data and technology and media. And so I love the ability to be able to blend the spiritual and the scientific. And this is something I say to my clients too. I'm like, even if you don't believe in past lives, the process that we take you through, you are going to be accessing your subconscious mind, which is going to give you reference points, which will come in the form of symbology, which will come in the form of what looks like memories. But even if you don't believe that it is a past life, even though they're always validated by the things that come through and the people Google them, it's still working in a way where we're exploring something more from a scientific perspective, because we're talking to the subconscious and we're talking to the unconscious mind rather than past lives. So whatever your belief system is around that, it really doesn't matter. What matters is it actually works. What matters is actually we get transformation and healing through these experiences. And that's honestly all I care about. So if you've got any physical ailments, any physical pain, then this totally could be part and parcel of having carried it from a past life. Actually, when I was a kid, when I was all in my teens, I had chronic throat issues. I would have like glandular fever and what was the other one? Glandular fever and tonsillitis multiple times a year, to the point where I had to go to a specialist and they basically told me to get my tonsils out, but I'm like, no, I don't want them out. So and when I started exploring past lifetimes, it was because my voice was shut down. It was because I was hung. It was because I couldn't express myself, because I wasn't able to fully be heard or seen for who I was because of the spiritual work that I was doing. And this is really common for any of you guys out there that have had throat issues. That I also was painfully shy as a kid. Guys, I know it's hard to believe now, right? But I was painfully shy. I was so shy. You should see all of my photos. I'm like, I look just like I'm cowering away from whoever I'm with. My school reports in primary school always said that I was painfully shy. Like, I was just so afraid to express myself, express my feelings, express my voice, express my opinions, because I was so afraid of the consequence. Like, it didn't make sense. And I am not the only one. Because, as I said, especially anyone that's drawn to any kind of spiritual or esoteric teachings now in this life, you will have had many lives where you were shunned and persecuted and tortured and experimented on and all the things for your gifts and for being your true authentic self. And this totally can manifest in throat or neck issues in this lifetime. So if you've had them, please let me know and we can clear them for you, because you are here to share your voice. You are here to share your truest expression and your authenticity. And you honestly can't do that to fully live your purpose when your voice is shut down, where your feelings are shut down, where you're too afraid to say who you are and what you want. We're not meant to do that. So if this is coming up for you, anything around communication, anything around your voice, then let's work together, because I'm really passionate about this, because this is a thing that I've really shifted and overcome. So something else that we can also go into that we are potentially still being impacted from is any repetitive life patterns. Now, again, this is something that I work with all my clients with. So this comes up a lot with repetitive patterns, with the same issues or the same relationship dynamics. If you're attracting the same people, or you keep repeating the same thing, again, relationships and money are where I see these come up quite often. Despite any efforts to change them, then this can often point to, lessons or unresolved karma from previous lifetimes, because often it is. Often it is. I'm trying to think of an example that I can tell you guys. Oh, okay, yes. So one of my clients, who is just a natural healer, she was like, Jillian, I'm always picking these men that are broken. I've realized that my ex-husband, everyone is, they're just this type of person, and I don't know why I'm just so drawn to them, or why I keep giving too much. And, I'm sure every empathic person out there can relate to this. And, she was really coming in a bit forlorn about it. And, she kind of she's so self-aware, and I love her for this, but she had come in realizing that the weekend someone had approached her, and instead of, just being like, no, kind of like, I can kind of see the red flags, like, I'm good, thanks. She kind of went into a bit of her own toxic behavior around it, like kind of trying to prove a point. But it was just, just from a hurt place. And, she was like, I'm not that person. I don't know why I did that. But it's this transitionary period where she realizes that she had this reoccurring pattern with relationships and the type of people that were attracted to her or that she was allowing into her life. But then on the other side, it was coming out in this toxic behavior towards them, because it's like she was resenting and angry at herself for even allowing them to come into her life or to even approach her even. She was just kind of in that, like, that middle ground of being aware of it, but then like resenting it, but not knowing what else she can do about it to change this pattern, to change her behaviors, to make sure that she wasn't allowing or entertaining the people that were essentially just not good for her, right? I think we've all been there. Let's just say that. So that's what we went into. That's what we worked on in our past life session, and it was really cool where she went back to a past life where she was a natural healer and super empathic, and she was leading the weak. She was saving and leading the weak, and a lot of them were men. And then she found that she carried that into this life, and then saw the correlation between her and ex-husband, who she was basically repeating the pattern with that she had carried from this past life. So yeah, once we had that awareness, and once we went through the healing that was needed to fully release and let that go, her thoughts around her ex-husband completely changed, from feeling that kind of resentful nature to having just emotional neutrality. And then she saw loads of signs and synchronicities, which was also wild, but that's another story. So look, guys, these are all signs that, one, you've had a past life, but two, you may still be impacted by it. And I would just love to know if any of those resonated with you, because if so, then the likelihood is that you're still carrying some kind of residues, patterns, or even karma that needs to be resolved in this life. Or on the other side, there's gifts and latent talents that you're here to express that you can recall and reclaim from these past lives, so that you can fully stand in your purpose in this lifetime. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I love educating. I love talking about past lives. And, this is actually why I created a whole module on past life blocks for all of my students in my Rebel Psychic School. Because honestly, trust me, if you're drawn or you're curious to explore your own spiritual and healing gifts in this lifetime, and you want to sign up to the Rebel Psychic School, then you probably have a lot of blocks, a lot of doubts, a lot of fears. One, about your gifts. Two, about sharing your voice and your authentic self, that are really that will be affecting you, or probably have already affected you, from one, embodying your own intuition, and two, like really stepping into your own power and potential. So I mentioned before, I think I mentioned on my last episode, that for the month of October, because it is my birthday month, I'm offering an amazing deal where you're getting 70% off the full price of the program. We're going to start the program in January. So we go live in January, where you get access to all of the course content, the modules, and then also all of the live calls with me. But if you sign up in this month of October, then you're going to get 70% off the full price. 70% off the full price just for signing up early, because it's my birthday month and I want to give this to the people that are like, yes, I'm ready, I'm invested. And not only you get 70% off, you're also going to get private one-on-one bonus sessions with me every month before we start. So if you're interested, drop me a DM on Instagram and I can send you the link. But again, this offer is only available if you purchase in the month of October. And yes, if you're keen, if you have any questions, also just DM me. I am here to answer anything for you, and I can't wait to see you in there if you want to join. And if you just want to explore past life, then as I said, this is what I do with my mentorship clients, and we cover everything. So all of my mentorship clients, they have different goals, whether it's business, career, money, relationships, self, spiritual growth. We go into it all. Like, it is a truly transformational process over 12 weeks. So if you're interested in that too, then drop me a DM on Instagram and we can link up a connection call. Or if you just want to just explore and dip your toe in the life of past lives, then you can just book a one-on-one private session with me as well, and the link will be in the show notes below. So there's so many ways to work with me, guys, so many ways, and if you feel called to, I would be so honored to guide you through the world of past lives that I am just so freaking passionate about. So that is me for the day, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please comment if you enjoyed this. Subscribe. I love to hear and see your support. And as I said, you can hit me up on Instagram. Just DM me, and I am there to chat, answer any questions you've got, or if you want to book a session, hit me up. You know where I am.